The fix is in. The Sports Fix.
Sports Fix listeners, don't wait all day or all week to get in on the fun. The party doesn't stop when we go off the air all week long. The Sports Fix social media sites are your one-stop shop for all things Cleveland sports. Jump over to Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, and become a fan today because we love fans and they create some of the best sports talk in town, Daddy. You'll enjoy talking to your fellow Cleveland sports fans on the Sports Fix fan page. And if Twitter's your thing, well, you know how we do it. Tweet with us at the Sports Fix CLE. It's that simple.
Twitter.com/TheSportsFixCLE, baby.
Chat live with the crew during all your favorite Cleveland sports events, tickets and contests and trivia and so much more. Get with us today, the Sports Fix on social media, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at the Sports Fix CLE. Join the Sports Fix on Facebook and Twitter today.
This is Greg Pruitt, formerly of the Cleveland Browns, and you're listening to The Sports Fix.
Live in Ohio, it's time to get your fix. The Sports Fix.
Welcome in, everybody. We are live on the air, rocking and rolling, baby. Friday edition of the Sports Fix. Time to wrap up the week, a short, condensed week. And yes, I'm saying that with a big old smile on my face. This week just flew by, man. Guys, seriously, though, already at the end of another week here. We're going to do a little bit of a different format here. First segment, going to be really tight and condensed. We're going to get all of the particulars out of the way. I'm not going to open up the phone lines because I've got Jonathan Knight joining us early, just about 10 minutes from now. Sportswriter extraordinaire Jonathan Knight on tap to join us here. Who knows where that conversation is going to go, but it's going to be great. It is each and every week. Can't wait to talk to JK here in just a few minutes. Following him, Jeff Gorman from Browns101.com. A lot going on this week as the Browns prepare themselves for Monday's game. We'll talk about the latest with Jeff Gorman, the quarterback. Well, you know what? I'll get into that here in just a second here because I was pretty positive that somebody said something completely different a few days ago. We'll talk about writing the record here, correcting the record. But anyways, we'll talk Browns, all of that heading into the weekend and Monday with Jeff Gorman from Browns101.com. I know yesterday I said I was going to try to reach out to my man Ryan Ruiz of the Inscriber, the Three Dog Bones. My man, he's been gone for the summer. Next Friday, Ryan makes his return right here to the show, so it's all set and scheduled. We'll get back into the every week deal with that, and I cannot wait for that. Hey, next week, by the way, I'm going to reach out and get my man BJ Riddell back on the show. It's time to start getting fantasy football preparations fired up. We'll start talking to BJ Riddell and fantasy football for winners. And speaking of next week, I'll have all the details on how you guys can join us and do the Sports Fix Fantasy Football League as well. So a lot of that coming next week as we get back into the full swing of the full week of things. So whole lot going on here today. Let's rock and roll. Welcome into the Sports Fix. Let's do it. J-Rock with you. Jerry Myers, the big daddy on the microphone. They call me the conductor of the madness here on the Sports Fix, baby. And we are going to rock and roll as we do. Man, it's the third time I've said rock and roll. I'm feeling good. I'm fired up, man. I'm not going to lie, man. I am wired up is probably the word for it here this morning. I've been putting in a lot of early morning work here on the show because I've got some things to do this afternoon. When we get off the air, boom, I got to cut and run. And of course, tomorrow, and I'll tell you more about it at the end of the show, big wrestling event for those of you that are into that thing. And especially if you're into baseball, it kind of hits all of the things we do on the Sports Fix here. It's local, it's sports, it's wrestling, it's all of that. The Lake Erie Crushers head on out to All Pro Freight Stadium tomorrow, besides the fact that it's a beautiful independent minor league stadium, but we're going to be there wrestling tomorrow. I'm going to be there in the ring, baby. Cannot wait to see a lot of you guys. I mean, there's at least 50 of you guys straight from the Sports Fix that have reached out to me and said my group's come. I mean, it's going to be a very fun day tomorrow. I'll tell you guys more about that. Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, X-Pac, Too Cool from the WWE. A lot of guys going to be there. It's going to be a great thing. We'll talk about that, but it's tomorrow, Saturday. If you're into that and you didn't catch it, message me and I'll tell you about it. Speaking of messaging me, I say it all the time. This is your show, not mine. Reach out and touch a brother, but you can't call me right now. But when I do open the phone lines, 216-539-7535 is the number to call. Tell me that I don't see somebody whining in the chat room that they won't give the most heralded 22 pick in NFL draft history a fair shot. Come on. Come on, already you guys are starting in the chat room. You and 4 other people honestly believe that, I think. But 216-539-7535. 216-539-7535. Hit us up, Facebook and Twitter and email. That's how we do it. Social media, facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at thesportsfix, CLE, all one word. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. And make sure while you're there, you follow us on Twitter, and you, of course, become a fan of the fan page there on Facebook, as we're trying to close in on 21,000 fans there on Facebook. So make sure you like the page while you're there. And, of course, send me your messages. Send them live during the show. Send them 24 hours a day when you're listening, wherever it's at. I love to hear from each and every one of you guys and your feedback and all of that. That's what makes this the fun endeavor that it is each and every weekday at noon right here across the Sports Fix Radio Network. So real quick, I'm going to get to the break here and get Jonathan Knight on in just a few minutes. We're just about 5 or 6 minutes away from him joining us here on the Sports Fix, but I do want to talk a little bit about a couple of things yesterday. I went off the air, and maybe this is why I got a little extra skip in my step yesterday. I mean, not only with the Browns quarterback deal and all of that, and I had some fun with some people, because, I mean, I, as you know, we talked about it this week, guys. I was hot about the fact that before that game was over on Saturday, the verified, and I say that with huge phony air quotes, the verified directly from the inside story reported by ESPN before the game was over, that Johnny Manziel had surpassed Brian Hoyer, that this quarterback competition was over. He was leaving him in the dust, and I'm telling you, that's not what happened. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't win the job. I'm just simply saying this is why I tell you guys, stop letting these guys treat you like yo-yos on the radio and on all of these other outlets. And I know there are some good guys out there, and it's hard to filter the good from the bad, because what makes the bad one so sneaky is that they craft it in a way that makes it very believable. But if you use common sense, if you use what you see with your own verification, and then combine that with sources and places that you do know are pretty respectful with what they report, you really do get a pretty clear picture of what's going on. And I get so mad. It doesn't matter who your guy is. I'm not even talking about that. I get mad at seeing the fans yoked around all the time, whether it's this, whether it's 18 other stories that come out every week. And it's one thing to sit and talk endlessly about situations that at least are in some plausible form of reality. But when people just blatantly make up stories because it fits the narrative that they want to tell, and I told you, the phenomenon of social media makes it worse, because all it takes is one person crafting one tweet that sounds relatively right, and 3 or 4 other people now take that tweet and turn it into a little story on their website. And now one major newspaper or website finds one of those stories, back checks them to the original tweet, and says, oh, well, I think this is a news story. And next thing you know, it has gone viral, and it all started from something completely different than where it ended up. I joke all the time, and I say it's like that old grade school game of telephone, where you start on one end, and by the time it gets to the other end, the thing is completely changed. And that's the part that drives me nuts, regardless of who wins this thing. And but besides that, the thing that really made me giddy is John Axford is no longer a member of the Cleveland Indians. The Indians, by subtraction, are now a better team because of that. I mean, really, both of those actually came within about a half an hour or an hour of each other, man. But you want to talk about giving people away at the trade deadline. That was the definition of it there. They put him on waivers. The Pirates claimed him on waivers, and they didn't even work out a trade. It's like, okay, you guys can just pay him and take him. No, thanks for the service. And what's funny when you look at John Axford is, if you were just looking, and this is part of why you got to see things for yourself, and not just, and we've all seen it for ourselves this year, but not just look at the stats. And that's why it's tricky in the offseason to look at the stats when you're talking about signing guys and doing things, especially if it's a guy not from your team and the stats are from another area you're not watching. Because John Axford's record, look, you're like, hey, he saved 9 of 11. Wow, how did he lose his job? Because we all know how he lost his job, and we all know how it went since then. And to me, not that there needed to be a last straw, but I firmly believe last week, if he doesn't give up that golf ball, give up the grand slam, I think the Indians would have swept the Yankees in Yankee Stadium last weekend instead of taking 2 out of 3. So, I mean, I know it's easy to say when the final scores, within that realm, but I mean, they came back. But unfortunately, that was the second 5-run inning that had Axford's grand salami in there, which is what cost them that game. So I usually don't get happy when people are gone. I usually am very cool. Hey, man, especially I did not like to see a class act like Justin Masterson. And there's not anything that's not class about John Axford. He's never done anything. I don't have a personal problem with him, but man, I do not. For months, I've been trying to figure out why we even keep putting him out there, because it seems like every time he goes out there, everything blows up. We're going to talk more about that. I've already gone over my first segment here. I got to get to the commercial because I've got Jonathan Knight, the Sportswriter extraordinaire, coming up. We will talk more about this. I'll get to John Axford with JK. We'll talk about the Browns and Hoyer and Manziel and all of that. And Major League Baseball. They replaced, in my opinion, one of the most inept commissioners in sports out there. I'm not a Bud Selig fan at all, and I don't know if I'm a Rob Manfred fan at all either, because I think it's just going to be the same old. This is a guy who pushed a lot of Selig's agendas over the years, but we'll talk about that, all of that, whatever's going on with Jonathan Knight, Sportswriter extraordinaire. It's coming up next right here on the Sports Fix. Jeff Gorman from Browns 101 still to come. We're going to open up the phone lines. We'll talk Cavaliers, LeBron. What did LeBron know before anybody else knew? We'll talk about all of that, tons of things. Let's roll. Sports Fix on the air, baby. We'll be right back.
You wanna be, you wanna be, you wanna
be. When it comes to Cleveland sports, we go from
You can't touch this
to
I can't watch this.
So listen to The Fix. It's easier on the eyes.
Hey guys, before we go to the break, I want to talk to you a little bit again about our good friends at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted. Of course, during Brown season, we're there each and every week. What a fun time it was last year. But not just that, so many more reasons for you to check out the Harry Buffalo today. The UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championships, some of the hottest fights in the world today. Each and every one of their huge events. Harry Buffalo is one of the few places in Northeast Ohio you can go there and watch each and every UFC fight at the Harry Buffalo. And let me tell you, I've been there. The people are out the door. They are to the rafters. It is one of the craziest environments for some UFC fights. Wing Mondays, they've got great deals on wings and drinks. And every day of the week, there's a different special, a different deal. And don't forget the Bison Burger, the unbelievable. It is the combination of a fantastic burger and eating healthy combined into one unbelievable sandwich. You have got to get a Bison Burger while you're there. So whatever you're looking for, whatever day of the week, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sundays, there's something for you at the Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, just outside Great Northern Mall. Check them out today. Harry Buffalo, join the herd.
Hey everybody, this is Jerry the King Lawler from WWE, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
Indians fans, GV Art and Design has unleashed their new baseball collection. This summer, you've got to have one of the hottest baseball shirts available. Indians themes, GV Art has them covered from top to bottom. Chief Wahoo, keep the Chief, one of the hottest sellers going today. GV Artwork, knocking it out of the park, teaming up with Michael Brantley to create a custom Dr. Smooth t-shirt. Bringing back an old classic, GV Artwork, bringing out the wild thing. Give them the heater design. The Cleveland That I Glove collection continues to grow. New designs for women and so much more. GVArtwork.com, bringing it full force to the plate for baseball season this year. Whether you check them out online, GVArtwork.com, use the sales code FIX10, FIX10 to save 10% on your total purchase. Whether you go to their store in Lakewood, check them out at the Cleveland Indians team shops around Progressive Field, and so much more. GV Art and Design. It's not just a shirt, it's a statement.
The Sports Fix is on iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeart app today. Subscribe to the show and get your fix.
Whether it's an oil change or a new set of tires, Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck has you covered for your automotive car care needs. They're your neighborhood quick service experts. They also offer a low price tire guarantee. choose from 13 brands, and if you find the same tires at a lower price within 30 days, Quick Lane at Valley Ford will refund the difference. They're open late Monday through Thursday until 9 p.m. and open early Saturday so you can check it off your to-do list and get on with your day. They also have a newly remodeled service lounge and additional service